broadcasting from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota. I'm JP Derbergosian. Welcome to The Gailey Show. We are your answer to the question, what is a queer thing I can read, watch, or go to in the Twin Cities, Minnesota, and beyond? We have a great show for you today. Joining us, the Flip the Script Fest is currently running in the Twin Cities. We're going to talk to the organizers, Matt and Victoria. You don't have to be in Minneapolis to watch the movies. But up first, Jack Tamburri, who is the director of Drawing Lessons, which is opening this weekend, as in today, folks, at the Children's Theater here in the Twin Cities. So, Jack, welcome to The Gailey Show.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here.
Absolutely. So hearing a little bit about the show, I'm really excited to talk to you about it. So let's jump right in. Tell us about Drawing Lessons.
So Drawing Lessons is a new play. This is its world premiere production, and it centers on a young character named Kate, who is a 12-year-old girl growing up in South Minneapolis in the year 1995. So it's the 95-96 school year. She is in 6th grade in a new school, and Kate experiences significant anxiety and does not talk in school or in public. And this puts her in conflict with her teachers. The other kids think she's weird. She struggles at home with the demands her father places on her. And Kate is a kid who doodles compulsively. This is how she sort of finds emotional calm. And she encounters a curmudgeonly cartoonist with a syndicated strip in the newspaper, if you remember newspapers. His name is Paul. And Paul and Kate develop a sort of mentorship relationship. He gives her the titular drawing lessons, and she starts to identify as an artist and come out of her shell. And that's sort of the story of the play. And the sort of spectacle value is we are collaborating with an extraordinary cartoonist, an illustrator named Blue Delaquanti, who is Twin Cities based, has published a number of graphic novels of their own. They're also an educator at MCAD, right next door to the theater. They are creating more than 100 unique drawn images that are a huge part of the visual design of the play. And we've also got our actors drawing live on stage under live feed cameras so that the audience can have access to sort of this aspect of creative process.
Wow. So tell me, there's also, being the Gailey Show, there's also a queer theme, queer lens to this show as well, right?
There is actually, yeah. So, my creative partner, Michi Baral, who is the playwright, and I, we've been developing this play for a couple of years now. And from very, very early on, once we knew we were interested in a period setting, we were also very interested in representing queerness, gay life within that way. So Paul, the cartoonist, who is the sort of primary interlocutor in this play, is a gay man. He and his partner John run an art supply store, and that store is the space where Kate, the 12-year-old girl at the center of the play, really finds her garden, her space of emotional safety, her place to explore her creative voice. And we were interested in that for a couple of reasons. For one thing, I think in 2024 it feels pretty urgent to represent the space cultivated by these gay men as one not only of safety for this child, but one where this child can thrive. And then there was also something for me about representing a sort of pre-21st century gay life as something that people live their lives. They're active members of their communities. They're not, the context of social access, the contexts of power dynamics are, of course, real. And I think, especially for young people today, I'm an educator. I teach in an art school in New York, SUNY Purchase.
Mhm.
And I certainly perceive that for younger generations, there can be an idea that, you know, that life, queer life, prior to a sort of certain point of their awareness is this sort of life of constant and unrelenting sort of struggle and grief and you know, and I
Mhm.
think show, you know, these men, our costume designer made a very bold choice in giving these men wedding bands. These are men who are not legally married, and yet they are representing their commitment to one another in their lives as people in fact did in the years 1995 and 1996. You know, people made their way within their context, and so yeah, those are some of the things we were thinking about in creating these characters.
I wanted to ask you about that because that is a very interesting period of queer history, right? So we do, and for me, having kind of end of Generation X, early millennials, is the 90s were kind of really formative, right, for me, and it does kind of present a dichotomy, right? There's kind of this optimism, if you will, into the 90s. You start to see Ellen come out, even though she's immediately canceled on her TV show. But you also see Doma. We're kind of coming out of the HIV/AIDS pandemic. Like the cocktail is just starting to be introduced. So it kind of feels like we're emerging from that. And how are you seeing that period translating to the stage and resonating with kids today that are, coming of age in the 2020s? Is that what we call it, the 2020s?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. That sounds right. I think the particular gay culture of the era and the inner lives, social lives, sort of adult society lives of these characters aren't necessarily on stage in this play, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's on stage in the play is their shop and them when they interact with Kate, right? And so I think everything that you're talking about is, for me anyway, as a gay artist who I'm about a year older than our protagonist. I was in seventh grade in 1995-96, and so I think my awareness of gay culture and gay life was certainly peaked, but I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a whole lot of context. Um, So I guess my answer to your question is it's in the background. I know that our actors, Derek Mosley and Jim Lickscheidel, are really taking on the context as they've been working on their characters, and they're really concerned with a dignified representation that's also really human.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, so I think that that's sort of where it lives. This isn't. I wouldn't call this a capital G capital P gay play, and in a way, that's part of our sort of
Yeah.
provocation. Is, hey, good news. These characters can live in all kinds of plays,
Mm-hmm. I love that.
even when their particular sort of minoritized or politicized experiences are not the center of the play.
Yeah. I'll be curious how. So, I mean, the show is opening right this weekend. Have you
Mm-hmm.
had any like feedback so far from kids who have seen the show?
We
Because this is a world premiere, so I want to. I mean, yay! Congratulations, by the way, world premiere. So I don't know yet about having kids having reactions to it yet.
Yeah, it's been really interesting. Folks who have been in the room throughout the process. It's been really interesting to see folks who feel like the story of Kate, in particular, as a young person with anxiety, as a young person who feels called to artistic expression, as a young person who is biracial, who is being raised by a single dad. Like, all these aspects of that character's experience have really resonated with different people in different ways.
Hmm.
And so that has been something that has sort of kept us feeling like, okay, we're on the right track has been the way that folks, and often older folks who are older teenagers or who are grown saying, oh, this feels like how it felt for me when I was that age. In terms of younger people who are that age, I think, something I've really sort of learned while working here has been often the sweet spot for a play for young audiences is the cohort immediately younger than the protagonist, right? Who is most interested in what it's like to be 12 is 10 and 11-year-olds.
Well, that makes sense. But yeah, wow, I didn't even think of that.
I'd never thought of it before either, but it's a bit of a sort of broad rule of thumb, but it's really guided a lot of our choices in terms of how to make our story legible and for whom. And to know that there are going to be folks who are much younger, folks who are in elementary school and who are just accustomed to seeing everything at children's theater, who are going to come see this play, and I hope that they are engaged by it, certainly. But it's that sort of 8 to 11, 9 to 12, that has felt like the audience to whom we want to make sure we are pitching the tone and the voice of the play.
Wow. Wow. Well, obviously, I wish you all like all the success in the world, because it sounds like such an amazing production and world premiere. So hopefully this goes like around the country and the world. But I also want to ask you about, and we got a couple minutes here, and I know this is kind of going to be a big question. For someone who was coming of age in the 90s, where gay representation was very limited, shall we say, whereas right now you can sort of spend, a lot of your time just watching and consuming queer content. How has that shift been for you as a creator?
It's really interesting. I feel like coming of age in the 90s, there's a couple specific things about that moment. I think that opportunities for actual intergenerational contact, which are so important for sort of the transmission of gay culture and invitations into gay society, are very limited at that time, right? My elders were decimated. And so my entry points were sort of mysterious and cultural. It was a lot of books and films and hunting things down in the library and whispered names and who is Jack Smith? Oh, Velvet Goldmine. What's that?
Right. I'm going to have to leave it there because I know where you're going with that. And this is a kind of a bigger question that I asked right at the end of our segment. But how can folks get, real quick, because we got about 20 seconds here, how can folks get tickets to the show?
Children's Theater's website, or the box office in person, or their box office phone number. They are very accessible.
Perfect. We will include links to all of that in our show notes and on our website, as well as how to connect with Jack. Thank you so much, Jack, for being on The Gaily Show.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, well, folks, it's here. It's October. I am so happy to have my guests today, Matthew Berg and Victoria Carpenter from Flip the Script Fest. It's here. I'm so excited. How are you both feeling that it's up and running? First of all, I want to hear about that, and then I want to hear about the feature films that are going on this evening. So I guess, Matthew, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. It's always exciting to be back and to have our 7+ months of preparation for the festival, get to see it come to fruition, see folks out who maybe we haven't seen since last year or since June at the park. How are you feeling, Victoria?
I'm very excited. We're officially in tummy butterflies every morning, but turning it into excitement. So yeah, I can't wait. This is my favorite part of the year for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So tell us about you've got 2 feature films that are happening this evening. So tell us about both of those. I guess, Victoria, do you want to kick us off with the first one?
Would love to. So the first one is a very exciting film for us. They're both very exciting, but this is a feature, a stoner comedy feature, which we've never had before. You know, it's like you get all sorts of fun themes that come up in submissions, but I don't think we've ever had a stoner comedy feature before. So absolutely fantastic. It's by Harrison and Ivan, a fantastic filmmaking duo. They're also the stars of the show. Just again, fantastic humor, fantastic timing, quite subversive, a very fun, just classic stoner buddy adventure comedy, along with some really heartfelt queer themes in there. Um, yeah, kind of just a come as you are experience. It's really heartfelt. And then we also have a really exciting sponsorship for the screening that we're doing with local glass
Mm.
artist Bro, who's fantastic. And they're making us a fun little custom tube, perhaps cannabis accessory to give away at the screening. So I'm so excited. It's got custom themed imagery from the movie. So
What?
yeah, it's kind of just a fun, our thing is we celebrate queer film, and this is just a total have fun, kick back, laugh, feel a little something, and just celebrate. So this is one of the let's have fun, let's celebrate, let's laugh screenings. So all around, yeah, it kind of really came together.
As I was going through the features that you've got going on here, I didn't realize it was a stoner comedy, and I don't know what this says about me, but that was the one I was gravitating towards.
Well, yeah, you're in good company.
But also very excited. And then Matthew, tell us about the second feature that is happening this evening.
Our second feature is Photo Booth. It is a must-see, hard to describe hybrid of a film. It is part documentary, full part musical opera, following two Palestinian activists who decide they are going to sabotage the Eurovision contest with a long deceased French novelist as their collaborator, and working with the gay penguins, famous in Canada, that are played by several different folks, that they're going to make a protest song and get it onto Eurovision. It has interstitials that are more traditional, like still stylized documentary moments with activists and folks telling a little bit more about the history the film is responding to. It is a wild ride. It is split screen, done in a way that is so fantastic. Blew my mind. Was like, what is happening? It's working. It's a wild ride. I can't wait to see it on the big screen. So far, I've just watched it on my computer, so definitely not one to miss. That one's also sponsored by Mizna and our media partners, Twin Cities Gay Scene. And the proceeds for that feature, both if you come and watch tonight with us in person at 8 p.m. or if you watch at home virtually, all those ticket sales we are donating to the Ghassan Abu Sita Children's Fund, which is doing fantastic work to get injured children out of Gaza and into Lebanon to receive medical care, social care, psychological care, along with their caretakers before returning them back home safely. So our opening night film also, Foragers, which played last night and is still available online, is also sponsored by Mizna, and those ticket sales are all being donated as well. So those are two features for sure to check out.
Wow. I love Mizna. They're an amazing journal. Just as a aspiring essayist, a queer Armenian American, they're just so amazing. And the work that they do here locally and internationally, we're just so lucky to have them here. And so you said watch them online. You have the in-person viewings happening this weekend, and then you have a virtual pass. So tell us about that. Maybe Victoria, you want to walk us through how one accesses the virtual pass and what they get for that?
Love to do that. So yeah, there are a couple ways to check out our programming online. So you go to flipthescriptfest.eventive.org, and that's a way that you can watch any of our films online. So let me pull it up there. You'll be asked if you want to purchase individual tickets or if you want to purchase a pass. Individual tickets are pay what you can. We're really excited about that. And passes are $100 or our pass it along, pay it forward passes are $200. But once you select which film you'd like to watch and how you'd like to watch it, you can just head over to our virtual cinema. It has more information about each of the films, and then it also has where you'll just access to just click on what you'd like to watch. Once you figure that out, you'll have 24-hour access to watch the film once you've started watching it. And that remains throughout our entire festival period through the 19th. And a really fun part about that is even if you can't make it to in-person screenings, you can still vote, which is your favorite, which we have for the first time an Audience Choice Award screening this year at the end on the 19th too. We're really excited about, so.
Ooh. Now for the virtual ones, do you have to like download software or does it just play within your like browser?
Yep, so it plays within your browser. There's also an app that you can download. Matt, maybe you can speak to this more. But otherwise, short and simple, you can just be in your browser. But Matt, if you want to talk about the app a little bit.
Yeah, Ventive has an app that's available, I think, for most streaming devices. I know for sure on the Roku you can get it. I'm going to guess you probably get it on the Fire Stick as well, in which case you can reserve your view through our Ventive website. And then if you want to watch it on your TV, it'll give you a code so that you can access and just watch on your TV at home if you don't want to watch on your laptop or desktop. You can also cast it to your TV as well. That might be an easy way to get it done over there too if you do casting.
Wow. The technology that we have.
It keeps giving.
It keeps giving. Now so on the 19th is the audience fave. So how does that work?
So we
Matt, do you wanna
have
take that?
ballots. Yeah, we have ballots for our feature films and our short films that are all in competition for the Audience Choice Award. This year we only have one film that's not in competition, and it is Prejudice and Pride, Swedish queer film, which is a virtual only film. It's a great doc about Swedish queer film history. Check it out. But at the end of watching a film, you'll get a chance to vote from 1 to 5. Like 1 being, this wasn't really for me, and 5, like, I gotta watch it again. And then we have a formula that Eventive does for us, and we'll find out which feature film folks like the most and which short film they like the most. And we'll be screening those again on the 19th at our Audience Choice Winners Best of Fest showing. We also get to award those winners with some cash prizes. The feature film winner will get $1,500 and the short film winner will get $500. And that is a wonderful sponsorship that started with the folks at We Were There, who worked on the film P.S. Burn This Letter, Please, that played in our 2021 festival. And they have a great mission of trying to keep telling queer history and promoting queer artists. They were able to work with a friend of theirs this year to get us funding to continue that happening. So we're super grateful to folks that believe in what we're doing and supporting queer artists.
Wow. I just love what all y'all doing. We're so lucky to have you here. I hope you feel supported and loved because we want to keep both of you doing everything that you're doing for many, 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 many years. So tomorrow you've got some documentary shorts, correct? Tomorrow afternoon?
Yes.
Yes.
We start our day off. Oh,
go for it, Maddie.
We start our
You
day
want to
off
cover
at 2
drama? I'll
o'clock.
do doc.
At 2 o'clock with our drama shorts, which is then followed by our documentary shorts at 3:30. And then closing
And then
night.
Victoria, there is the feature film on Sunday night, which is the closing night film.
Yep, Ladylike. So that's super fun. That follows around the London-born, San Francisco-based drag queen Lady Camden. And yeah, their struggle in the spotlight when they become a contestant on RuPaul's Drag Race. So that's a really fun one. We'll be closing out the night there for the first weekend.
Wow. So, tell me, what's your favorite film? I'm joking.
They're
What
all
a
our
horrible
babies.
question.
They're all our babies.
You did have a theme that I noticed that I really appreciated, is that you did have some films that were focusing on the Israeli-Palestinian sort of Middle East focus. What drew you to incorporating that? I mean, I don't want to say that was like a theme, but you do have a number of films that are, you know, dealing with that particular part of the world, and that you're also adding that kind of queer lens to it, which I'm super appreciative of, and I know I'm not the only one. So talk me through, I mean, what did that just happen to be by virtue of the folks who submitted films, or was that something that you were specifically looking for this year?
Let's start out and then pass off to Maddie. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, because that was actually, we put a lot of energy into making sure that that happened. So every year we bring in submissions, have open submissions throughout the year. We get beautiful films from around the world. We look through all of them. We, you know, decide what the cream of the crop is. And then we say, where are the holes in this? You know, what's going on right now that is missing from this? Part of the reason we started this festival was to make sure that, you know, unseen stories are being told, and that, you know, the queer stories that we're sharing weren't just all white stories, or weren't just all traumatic stories, or all of that, right? So this year being this year, of course, all these stories are important all the time, but it seemed very obvious that if possible, we really needed to get a feature. We needed to get spotlights on Palestinian struggle, the story, the history, right? I'll speak for myself as a Midwestern queer. I had almost no education about this conflict growing up, and it's been through my amazing queer community that's educated me about it. And so, yeah, it just seemed really important. So we started the story there.
I hate to cut you off because we are at time, and I'm so glad that you have that. Really quickly, I've got like 10 seconds left. Tell me, where do folks go to get tickets?
Matt.
flipthescriptfest.eventive.org. Or find us on Instagram at flipthescriptfest, and it's our link in bio.
Fantastic. Matthew, Victoria, thank you for being on the Gailey Show. Congratulations on an amazing festival.
Thank you. Come on, see us at Willow Creek this weekend.
And thank you, everybody. We'll see you back here next Saturday. In the meantime, see you at the movies.